Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to be showing you the new setup to duplicate any items on 1.1.2. Now, as always, before we start, this glitch is going to work on the following game versions. Now, for the setup, we're only going to need a couple of different items. We're going to need one steak, which you can get down here at this dispenser if you don't already have any. And then we're going to need a little bit of zonite. If you go where I go and follow my steps, you'll only need, I believe, 12 for the setup, and then either 36 or 39 anytime you want to actually do the duplication. But whether it's 36 or 39, each time is up to you. And I'll go into that when we get to it. So once we have everything, you want to come to this shrine here in Hyrule Square. Realistically, you can go anywhere. This is just where I like to go because there's a good amount of building materials and there's a shrine right next to it. So we're going to come here. I'm going to grab all of these longboards. So the two there. And then we're going to grab the two here. And then we're also going to grab two of these square planks. Just slap those on and drag it all back. And then, if you want, you can also take your stake out. But this is going to be the last thing that we're putting on. So once we have all of our items over here, we want to start with these planks. And we're going to start attaching them at 90-degree angles lengthwise. So we'll take the four that we have, and we're going to set them up just like this. Just try and do your best to keep everything straight. Preferably try and get the fuse down here in the seam instead of on the side. And then once we have our four long boards set up at a nice right angle like this, then we're going to go into auto build, and this is where you're going to need the 12 zonite for the setup, because we want to make another copy of that and then stick them together like this. Now, it might go a little uneven. It's not really the biggest deal in the world. Just pay attention to which side is elevated over the other, because that's the side that we're going to be sticking the stake to at the end. So the green side is higher up for me, so I'm going to be keeping that in the back. Not that it super matters, but it makes things just a little easier. So once we have all four of these, you want to grab it, rotate it, and we're going to flip it upside down like this. We're going to set it down. And this is where we need these. I'm just moving them out of the way so I have room. I'm going to take our two square planks, tilt one to 45 degrees, and attach them there. And then this is where your cost every time you want to do this will either be 36 or 39. I like to put this one behind to give me some extra space and a wall so I don't accidentally walk off the back. You don't have to do that, but putting in this little L bend here will cost you that additional 3 zonite to go from 36 to 39. And that can also only be found at this location, at least as far as I've found. So once we have this little ramp thing, we're going to take it, flip it upside down, rotate it, and then I'm going to stick it right there to the corner. And it's going to look a little funky, but we're not too worried about that. And then I'm going to take my stake, I'm going to move it up here, because I want to try and level this out when I finish it off, so that way it doesn't come out lopsided and crooked when I pull it up. So to do that, I'm just gonna Perfect. And then we'll take our stake, and we're going to stick it right here on the end. And the reason we leave that one until last is because now when we go into our auto build, if we pull this up, it's facing us. And this is what we want. We want it to be facing this direction because we realistically will not have the room to spin this around when we get where we want to be. And as you can see, this is the 39 Zonite, like I said. Yours would be 36 if you don't put that additional L bend on the back. So this is the material cost that it's going to be every time that you want to set this up for duping. So just keep that in mind when you are duping. Just make sure that you duplicate enough Zonite to be able to come back and do it next time. But once we have our setup in this little doohickey here, then we're all done in this place. You can save that to your auto build favorites if you want. And then we're just going to come down to this shrine here, right at the Hyrule Field Chasm. And then once we're here, we're going to run around the left side here. Don't go through the gloom, otherwise Bonnie over there is going to stop you and interrupt you and give you a bunch of dialogue every time you touch it, and it'll take you forever. And we're going to want to come to this little jet out where this guy is. And then if you look at the map, we want to angle our player icon so that way we're facing the road that's heading, what is that, northeast? We want to be lined up with that because that's where we need to be facing. So we're going to jump down, and then we're going to pay attention to our Y coordinate all the way in the bottom right on our map. It'll be the far right one. And we're going to be looking for about the 140 area is where we're aiming. And you'll see this little formation or this little clearing on the wall, and this is where we want to go, between 148 and about 150. So once you get on here, you want to face away from the wall. You need to make sure that your perspective is away, otherwise when you pull up auto build, it's just going to pop up behind you. Then we'll pull up auto build, we'll grab our schematic, probably need to push it out a little bit to have some room to build, and get it nice and in front of you. And then we're going to press A to build, and then L to pull up our abilities, and we want to move to recall. And then we're going to cancel out of this, and we're going to wait for all of the parts to finish building. And then once that's done, you'll hear a noticeable stop. Pull it up, rewind, switch to Ultra Hand, and grab it by the stake. And then we want to pull this close to us, and if you move it up and down, you'll notice that it kind of rolls over a lip. You want to get right below that lip, sort of, and then leave it. And then when we jump down here, you can come down this way, and we'll be at about 157-ish. And we're going to pull out our multi-shot bow. Put on our diamonds, aim up, and you'll see just like Tobio's Hollow, everything's getting stuck in the air. And then you just fire around, keeping in mind that the item limit is 21, so don't overdo it. And then once you're done, you just go up this ramp. You may have to go up on the sides depending on how high up you went. Then everything falls down, and you just pick it all up in your little funnel. And depending on how high up you aim, some of them will fall closer to you, some of them will fall farther away. It all depends on your angle. So like if I were to shoot in this direction instead of higher up, then these ones are going to fall much more collectively inside the cone here, like that. And then you can just like Tobio's Hollow, you just keep doing this as much as you want. And you can duplicate any item that can be stuck on the end of an arrow, with the obvious exception of Zonite devices, because you can't pick those back up. Well, yeah, that's going to do it for this one. If you liked the video, do me a favor and leave it a like. It really does help out. And subscribe to the channel for more.